How is it going, everyone? There are a plethora of really solid PlayStation 4 and 5 game deals right now that I want to highlight. Physical deals. Been covering digital deals a lot with the Golden Week sale, as well as the, I believe it's the May Mega Sale, or whatever they're calling it, the May Savings Sale, but there's some solid physical deals right now as well, so let us not waste any time and get right into it. Again, physical deals, so hopefully you guys have a disc-based PS5, but right off the top, Wild Hearts is down to $40 over at GameStop. This is one of those titles, been dropping in price fairly quickly. Remember it came out in February, so it being down, I think it was end of February as well, it being down to $40 already is a pretty sizable discount given that it did release at 70 bucks. Now this was also a title published by EA Originals. Might be something to consider as we get closer to the release of Immortals of Vayam. That's a game I'm excited for, but I could see that game going on sale fairly quickly as well. That is also a $70 release. Just some things to keep in mind when we're talking about, you know, upcoming titles and what could potentially go on sale. For example, that game is also in July. A couple months after that, you'll have the holiday season, and I foresee that game being on sale fairly quickly. Although, I think that game looks great, so, you know, I'm not trying to, like, rain on their parade right now, but just something to consider. Wild Hearts was done by Tecmo Koei, and it very much adopted a Monster Hunter style of gameplay. From what I played of the game, I ended up really enjoying it, and I'm not big in Monster Hunter. Like, I definitely can appreciate what those games bring to the table, and Wild Hearts is very similar in that regard. There is a level of grind involved to it, but it's got some tremendous big boss battles. So, yeah, if you're into that style of game, you'll probably enjoy this, and you'll have a sizable amount of content. They have been updating the game as well. 40 bucks for it, I think, is a pretty solid pickup, so I wanted to give that a shout. Dead Space Remake. Now, this is an EA published title. It isn't an EA Originals title, but this is one that has been holding up in price. But I think a lot of us expected that going into the release of Dead Space. Like, there are certain titles that EA publishes, like a Dead Space, like a Star Wars, that those are gonna hold up in price, even though Star Wars had that $10, you know, gift card offer, but that's not really a discount. And then EA publishes other games, like a Need for Speed, and you know, like, that's gonna go on sale very quickly. But Dead Space has been holding up in price. GameStop's got it for $55. Yes, this game at this point is approaching 4 months old, so just getting a $15 off discount, not the greatest thing in the world, but man, I thought Dead Space Remake was a tremendous game. I would probably put it like probably number 3 or number 4 this year. So I think my ranking of the best games of the year thus far would probably go RE4 Remake 1A, 1B with Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I know that game has a lot of performance issues. I'm pretending that those don't exist, but from the content itself, I think that's 1A, 1B. And then probably Hogwarts Legacy, and then Dead Space Remake after that. Probably would put Hogwarts Legacy above Jedi Survivor, just based on Jedi Survivor's current state right now. But I'm saying ultimately when the game gets fixed. Dead Space Remake was tremendous as well. A fantastic survival horror action title. I mean, most of you guys probably played Dead Space back in 2008, but if you didn't, and I don't blame you, it's been 15 years since the game originally came out. This is a tremendous remake, and visually it looks good, and the gameplay still holds up really nicely. Really immersive horror title as well. Hopefully they do remake Dead Space 2 at some point, or just do more with Dead Space as an IP, because I think there's a lot of legs to Dead Space going forward. I do want to note some deals on Amazon. Now, first of all, the first deal isn't even in stock right now, but I do want to make mention of Tales of Symphonia. That has been going in and out of stock over at Amazon for $19.99, and that's a good price to pay for Tales of Symphonia Remastered. The initial $40 price tag was a little bit hefty, given that it is a remaster of a GameCube game, and also it had a remastered collection that also included Dawn of the New World back on the PlayStation 3, and that was $40. So you're talking about all this time later, and you're getting just Symphonia for $40. So that's kind of whack, but 20 bucks is a great price. Like, people love Tales of Symphonia. I would argue at this point, with Bandai Namco remastering these Tales of titles, it's definitely time to, like, look at these games and see if the better idea would be to do a full-on remake of these games. Like, remakes are in right now, so why not remake a Symphonia? Why not remake an Abyss that people can really gravitate towards? Because even though Symphonia is a classic, it's a game that absolutely does show its age, and I think it would have been worthwhile to see this, like, remade in the Arise engine or something like that. But yeah, I don't know if Bandai Namco is too keen on doing that. Nonetheless, if you can find it for $20, which it's also that price point at Best Buy, that might be something worthwhile to look at. Dying Light 2 Stay Human, 58% off for $24.99. Remember Dying Light 2's 25 bucks? Like, I want to give it a recommendation just because this is a really, really good price for Dying Light 2. Yes, I have been vocal about the fact I did not think this game was as strong as Dying Light 1, but nowhere does that mean that it's a bad game. It's actually a very, very good game, and there's a lot of elements that I liked. I think the parkour gameplay is great. The open world has a ton of content to it. The combat isn't like a home run, and narratively, I think it starts off incredibly engaging, and then they kind of fumble the bag towards the second half of the game, so that was a bummer, but 25 bucks for a game that you can rest assured that Techland's going to be committed to upgrading and updating it pretty regularly, I think is a good buy. Next up, we got One Piece Odyssey, 33% off for $40. I've been vocal about how much I surprisingly enjoyed this game as well. It's like mechanically a well-made turn-based JRPG, and I'm not a big One Piece guy, I say that over and over again, but Odyssey was a game that I was even engaged to. It doesn't have any English voice acting, which is kind of a bummer, but overall it's a pretty well-made turn-based JRPG, and I had a great time with it. If you're a One Piece fan, probably doubly so that you're gonna have a good time with it. I wouldn't say spend $60 on it, but for $40, you're probably getting a 40-hour JRPG here, especially if you do take your time with it, and it's a worthwhile game for sure to pick up. I was pleasantly surprised, and this was like one of the first like kind of big games of the year. Remember, it came out like early January, and kind of set a nice tone for the year going forward. So yeah, Odyssey for $40, not a bad deal there. Tactics Ogre Reborn, 40% off for $29.99. This is a great tactical JRPG, but just pack a lunch because this game is so difficult, like egregiously difficult in a lot of regards. But 30 bucks I think is a good price. Remember that this is initially a PSP title. Actually, initially it's a PS1 title, and then it came out on the PSP and Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together, and now you have this PS5 release. $50 for a PSP game, a little bit much, but you know, we paid 50 bucks for Crisis Core. At least a lot of us did. Thanks to Square Enix for giving me a copy of that game, but nonetheless, a lot of people paid 50 bucks for Crisis Core, and they were completely okay with it. I get it, Crisis Core definitely more iconic than a Tactics Ogre, but nevertheless, at 30 bucks, I think it's a pretty decent little buy. Like a Dragon Ishin, $39.99 on this, another relatively recent release. If you're a fan of the RGG titles, you'll probably enjoy this one as well. 40 bucks seems like a good price for it. And Sonic Frontiers also down to $40. Wanted to give a mention to that. Broken record with this game. I really enjoyed it. Is it perfect? Absolutely not, but the foundation for Sonic going forward has definitely been set with Sonic Frontiers, and I think it's a worthwhile game to check out. So at this price point, good buy here. A couple of titles from Best Buy rounding things out. Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, 30 bucks on this. Probably the price point it should have came out at. Yes, is it janky? Is it wonky? Yeah, but you're not paying 60 anymore. 30 is a much more palatable price point. Red Dead Redemption 2, $19.99. It's RDR2. It's fantastic. You should definitely go check it out. And, you know, we're dying for a PS5 upgrade here. 60 frames per second is something that definitely needs to happen at some point, but I'm sure Rockstar will do it and then probably charge money for it. So, yeah, you can be prepared for that. But it's a tremendous game. Even at 30 frames per second, it's a worthwhile game to go through. Arthur Morgan, one of the goated main characters in gaming history. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals available right now. Links to everything in the description box below. Nothing, like, I would say that is absolutely blow away, but stuff like Wild Hearts, Dead Space Remake, getting any kind of discounts on games that are that recent of a release. One Piece Odyssey as well. Yeah, you're paying a bit of a premium on a lot of these titles, but you are talking about more recent releases. So links to everything again in the description box down below. Thanks for watching, and sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.